YouTube, hear me! It is true, what many of you have heard. People have created new technology, the driverless car. And the day when your car can drive you is coming closer. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed off fear of it. Paraphrasing Morpheus's "We are Zion and we are not afraid" speech from The Matrix Reloaded, one of the quintessential Technophobia flicks of the past 50. Yeah. You can go on IDB, you can Google it, and you can find out how long it's been. I'm sorry. Let me get back on track here. Hello, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Random Thoughts from me, Ted Bear. Now, I've talked about Technophobia, but I don't think I've actually explained it completely, at least the politics, pitfalls, and scapegoating of it. Now, this video came into focus for me when I saw a story on Twitter, and it read, FBI warns that driverless cars could become a new deadly weapon for terrorism, which actually led me back to the beginnings of Technophobia, which is the Industrial Revolution. No, not Tron, the first movie. Technophobia, the fear of new complex machines and computers. Now, when people fear what they don't understand. It's one of the basic hallmarks of the human animal. And fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Now, besides showing off what I've been told is a fairly dead-on Yoda impression, what am I talking about? Well, it comes down to Memlo's hierarchy of needs, a concept in which each need is built on the next. Starting with physiological, breathing, water, food, sex. Then you have the level of safety, security, of body, of employment, of health, of property, belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy, esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of and by others, and finally actualization, which is hard to explain. You know, there is no really easy way to run that one down. But the fact that sex popped in twice didn't go unnoticed. Now, the hierarchy of needs is taught in business classes as a way to motivate your labor force, your workforce. Each level builds just like Lego bricks, and you can't get to actualization without the physiological and the safety and the belonging and the friendship and the esteem. You can't get up here without all of these. Now, together you get a whole happy person. When you take out the safety level, which is the threat of the driverless cars for those who make their living behind the wheel, you get this. When someone has this and is facing this, you get fear, and you get a group who are willing to fight to keep this, or to use their shattered this to put this back together. So, and having gone from this to this when I was medically retired, it is a very scary concept, so I understand. A group of angry people who group of angry people, they only need a target, and wave of hatred leads to the suffering, which brings me to my point. Which brings me to the scapegoating and politics part of my point. One of the other hallmarks of the human animal is people who have power want to keep power. This article, of course, using our built-up fear of terrorism to keep people with power in power. Hell, the tech to create driverless car bombs has existed for over 70 years. The Goliath tracking mine from World War II. Google it. So let's stop pretending these stories are meant to be about public safety. Headlines like this are meant to scare us, the rank and file, so people can gather up followers, not to fight for people who've had their lives turned to this, but to keep the power in power. Ask a gang member, ask cult leaders, even ask terrorists, and you'll see this pattern I'm talking about, because it's happened before. As I wrap this up, let me ask a couple of questions, make a few predictions about how the driverless car would actually be implemented into modern society. Arguments from a place I like to call logic. Now, the car started out as an expensive toy around 1769. Yes, the car is older than the United States of America. Think about that for a second. Then they got to the gas power and the Model T, and how many years, multiple centuries actually, did it take for the car to replace the horse and buggy as the preferred mode of transportation? And since you can still find the horse and buggy, I submit that some people are still going to want the service of, they're going to want somebody to put their bags in the car. They're going to want somebody who'll be willing to take somebody else's crap for money. Now, how long do we have until the driverless cars has passed all of its safety tests and is actually ready for the general public? Because we're freaking out about technology that isn't even here yet. At least isn't here in the U.S. Now, how long will it be after the driverless cars get on the road will we actually trust them? As far as the implementation, it would be a lot easier. Now, the videos of the Google car, they don't have pedals, they don't have steering wheels. Now, I believe that would be a long time before we're ready for that. Now, however, that system in Demolition Man, where the car going off voice command, the steering wheel shrinks down when you shrinks down when you're not driving, it pops out when you're ready to drive. That would work. And or the technology that brought us the Hoff, the 9 Industries 2000, the artificial intelligence that was actually your co-pilot and can drive for you, if you asked it to, would be much more likely to be put in than the Google car. Sorry, Google, I think you got a great idea going, but people aren't going to want to give up control. It just, it's just not going to happen. Now, as I close, because I know I'm going a little bit long here, when my triangle was smashed, that was just one person, and that still took from chest pains to honorable discharge. That process still took about 2.5 years. More than enough time. Well, and that's just one person. Now, to make sweeping changes like a lot of people are afraid are going to happen to the transportation and the taxi and the limo industries and all that, that's going to take a long time. The earliest I could see anything like that happening, 10 years. More likely, at least a generation. More than enough time to change how your hierarchy of needs is met. Most likely, those who still have these jobs will be able to retire from them. They will need to teach their children, their sons and daughters, another way. But there's more than enough time. There's time. Come on, really. But if we shed our fear of technology and the future, we could be prepared for it. This has been Random Thoughts from me, Ted Bear. I hope I made some sense, and as always, I just hope I helped.